Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Culture Shock podcast. I'm your host, Culture Shock. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Happy holidays. I hope everyone has a safe travel. Stay safe, drink responsibly, and just enjoy the holidays. This is going to be the last show until after Christmas. I won't be giving a preview of the Christmas game. I just want you guys to enjoy the holidays, but we'll be back to recap the game after. So let's go ahead and hop into this game. The Tennessee Titans headed into Indianapolis to take on the Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts wound up walking away with the victory 30-38. The Colts won at home. The playoff hopes is still intact, and Jonathan Taylor, my goodness, is an animal. He went crazy this game. He was the highlight and the sole reason as to why they had any chance of winning this game. Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns, 29 carries, 218 yards, pretty much 7 yards per carry. Him and Anthony Richardson pretty much did what they wanted on the floor. On the ground running the football. Anthony Richardson ran for a touchdown at the beginning of the game as well. He had 9 carries and 70 yards, 7 yards per carry as well. But the progressions of Anthony Richardson in this game, throwing the football, I feel like he had a lot of good passes, a lot of good throws. He overthrew a few targets as well, but I think most of his throws was pretty much on target. And the definition of the game from the Colts and Titans was pretty much to run the football. I mentioned how dominant the defensive line is for Tennessee, but I also mentioned how important Jonathan Taylor is for this game, especially after the last game with the whole situation of going into the end zone and dropping the ball early. He had a mission this game, and Shane Steichen had a mission this game as well to get your best player to football, and that's what they did. Jonathan Taylor got the ball, and every chance he got, he felt like he can just break off for a first down or more, and that's what it showed against this team. This Tennessee Titans team is no slouch at all. I feel like they're very talented, but still going into a different direction and trying to figure it out. They had a new quarterback this game. Will Levis got benched last week. Mason Rudolph started this game, and the inconsistency showed. Like I said, they still had a chance to win this game. They drove pretty late into the game, like second half, late in the second, late in the third, going into the fourth. The Colts were playing very conservative. They pretty much knew they had this game intact, and they pretty much left the door open for the Titans to have a chance to win this game. But the Colts still ended up winning. Like I said, the worry was there, but if anyone knows, most quarterbacks' successful rates are better in 2 minute warnings. 2 minute drills, and then instead of a four set of quarters. So 2 minute drill with Anthony Richardson. This is pretty much his dial up. He knows what to do. He's more composed under that time. We've seen it from training camp. That's what they practice at all times is 2 minute drills. So Anthony Richardson pretty much sealed the game with the third down completions and then running for the first and wound up getting it done. They gave the Titans the ball back at the end of the game, and it was pretty much just a heave, which pretty much still scares me because if anyone remembers that Texans game when they wound up catching the ball and winning on a heave, but Rudolph wound up throwing a pick to Kitty Moore, which who had himself a good game. But this defense for the Colts pretty much didn't let up all game. Like I said, until the second half, pretty much when they pretty much gave up almost 30 points. But like I said, this Colts defense was pretty much putting the pressure on Mason Rudolph to make a play. Rudolph did have a lot of struggles. He did start off early, giving the ball to Calvin Ridley, who had himself in a sectional game. You got to give credit where credit is due. Calvin Ridley had himself 3 catches, 78 yards, pretty much 20 yards per catch, and a touchdown, which pretty much was on a broken play, in my opinion. I think it was miscommunications why Womack was pretty much smoked on that touchdown. But he had 3 nice catches. The Titans really struggled trying to get the identity right for the offense. They pretty much struggled. The run game was not there. Like I said, the receiving game, the tight ends would open, but we pretty much knew that already. But like I said, besides that touchdown to Ridley at the beginning with miscommunication on Womack came back and got him a pick. So that was pretty much nothing. Nick Cross could have had him an interception this week, but DeForest Buckner was pretty much putting pressure on that offensive line all week. We knew that was the weak spot for the Titans, the offensive line. So they pretty much took advantage of that. I think the Colts defensive line did what we wanted, was put pressure on the offense, forced them to make some plays, and they could not get anything done. Jalen Carlys came back this week from injury and had himself a good day of a return. So it was good to see him back out there. My guy Grant Stewart, I seen him out there make two big plays, two big hits, by the way. Latu had him a quiet day, but the pressure was there. The defensive line put a lot of pressure on Rudolph to try to make something happen, and they just couldn't. And the Colts were just willing to deal and running the football with Jonathan Taylor. And I felt like Jonathan Taylor could have did like this. He could have did something like this all year. Honestly, he's the best player on the offense. You got to get him the ball. You got to find ways to get him open. And I think those outside runs was the identity of what I wanted to see going into the preview, and that's what they did pretty much. Jonathan Taylor found the hole every time. It just was loose. He just got loose. The offensive line on the run blocking had themselves a very good day run blocking, and it showed. So give credit where credit is due. The offensive line took a huge upgrade after last week's performance. I think they did pretty good blocking this week. So we got to give credit to them. Quentin Nelson went out with an injury, but he wound up coming back. So that's not as scary as we thought it would be. But other than that, like I said, the defensive line, they pretty much put pressure on Rudolph. Uh, give credit to A.D. Mitchell for making that big catch for 36. Josh Downs had himself a pretty good big plays, three catches. He took one to the house. He could have took two, but he wound up one out of bounds on one of them. Other than that, I said it was a pretty quiet game. Other than that, running the football by committee, I think this defense did what they really could. Anthony Gould had three good returns, man. He had really three good returns, so it was good to see him. He's starting to get more consistent on big runs, on returns, which we knew. That's why we drafted him. He's very special on special teams, so having him back there with Doolin, both of those guys are pretty good returners, but Gould had himself some good returns. But other than that, like I said, this defense, give credit where credit is due. They put pressure on Rudolph to make some plays, and Rudolph just could not figure it out. But he was dinking and dunking. That's pretty much what we knew was going to happen. But other than that, he couldn't really make any splashes. The team just figured it out too late, the Titans. But it was pretty much the game was pretty much over at that point. So the Colts were playing very conservative for the Titans to go down the field and make some plays. But like I said, this Colts team knew what was at stake after last week's loss. They came in this game with a mission, and they figured it out and got their job done. Of course, it was scary towards the end of the game, letting up the gas and getting the team to creep back in to try to get the win, But at the end of the day, the Colts knew the mission to get it done. Play with urgency. They figured it out, and they won the game. They could have easily lost this game. I don't like playing very conservative. I feel like if you have a lead, just go ahead and get the job done. And they wound up doing that. They could have scored more points, I think, honestly, but I think they really went to conservative and did what they had to do. But I honestly feel like a game like this could have been something of the norm this whole year. But I feel like the identity was still lost. I think the Colts are just trying to find their identity and figure out what they want to do. What's their MO, in my opinion. But, I feel like to each his own. Next season, hopefully they'll find out what they really want to do and be consistent with it and stick with it. You need to be consistent on both sides of the football, not just one side. And that's pretty much been the problem for the Colts for multiple seasons, trying to figure out how to be consistent on both sides of the ball. And this game was pretty much the same thing. But I think offensively, you see if you feed Taylor and let him work, and then Richardson get more run plays in for him, you have something cooking, and the defense can do its part. But hopefully, this game they can take notes and use this as their system moving forward. Just give Jonathan Taylor the football and let Richardson rock after that. But I think Taylor should be your identity, and then let Richardson cook off of him. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the game. Like I said, the Colts was pretty much dominant the whole game. The just points for the Titans towards the second half was pretty much, it's like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's gassed, pretty much. Their points is gassed because the Colts was playing conservative. So, but the Colts was dominant. They almost had 500 total yards on pretty much the game. They had 100 passing yards, and then they had 300 rushing yards. Taylor could have easily had 300 rushing yards a game, but like I said, they let off the gas, so it is what it is. The Colts was very efficient on third down. They had a lot of penalties, but it is what it is. They didn't fumble the ball, and they had the time of possession pretty much favored in there and on their side as well. and it didn't take a lot of plays for them to get those yards. So, like I said, it was very explosive this game, and they pretty much got the job done and did what they had to do to get the victory. So, hopefully, they can enjoy the holidays, come back, and lock in and get another victory. Like I said, the playoff opportunities is still intact. They can still have a chance. It's a very difficult road, but we'll see if they do. Hopefully, they can get the job done. But other than that, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Follow me on all platforms. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Drive safe, drink responsibly, enjoy the holidays, and we will see you guys after Christmas.